Okay, when we're looking at the cost of like a meal with tax and tip, we have to figure out both the tax and the tip before we can add it together. So in this case, Ben has dinner with his family at Cracker Barrel. Oops. Their dinner was $32.55. Tax is 6%, and they want to tip their server 20%. What will be the total cost of their meal? So here is the original cost. This is the cost of all their food before tax and tip. We need to figure out what the tax is. The tax is 6%, and we're wanting to tip our waiter or waitress 20%, and then put that all together at the end. So at the end, we're going to have the cost of the meal plus the tax plus the tip, and that's going to give us the total cost. And that's what it's asking for here in this problem, is the total cost. So first we need to figure out what the tax is, a dollar amount, and then we need to figure out what the tip is, a dollar amount. So to figure out the tax, we've got 6%. We're going to divide by 100, remove the decimal, 0.06, and we're going to multiply it by our total, $32.55. This is going to give me 6% of $32.55. So I'm going to grab my calculator and I'm just going to plug that in. You could also use a proportion and put 6 over 100 equals x over 32.55 if you prefer. They will both get you the same answer. Just make sure if you're doing it this way that you move the decimal twice. All right, and that gives me 1.953. I don't want that 3 in the end, because when we talk about money, we only use the hundreds place. So that penny, it's going to be $1.95. It's either going to stay $1.95 or go up to $1.96. Since there's a 3 here, it's going to be a lot closer to $1.95 than it is to $1.96. So I'm going to keep it at $1.95. What does this stand for, this amount? Sometimes we get here and we're like, ooh, this is, I'm done, $1.95? No, that's not the total cost. This is 6%, which was the tax. So I like to label what I'm figuring out as I figure it out. So that's the tax. Now I need to do the same exact thing for 20% to figure out the tip. So I'm going to move my decimal twice and get 0.2 or 0.20. I like to write the 20 because it makes me think of 20%. Times our original amount, 32.55. And that's going to give me 20% of 32.55. So it's going to give me how much tip I'm going to give my waiter or waitress. So 20% times 32.55 is $6.51. I don't need to worry about rounding. Now, what does that number stand for? That stands for 20% of 32.55, which is the tip. They're tipping 20%. So this is the tip. Finally, now that we have the tax and now that we have the tip, we're going to add it to the original cost to get our total. So it's $32.55 plus our tax, because we're paying that to the government, plus our tip, because we're paying that to our waiter. And we're going to add these all together. So I have 32.55. I don't want to make an error here. $1.95 and $6.51. All together, it's going to be $41.01 is their total cost. Now, there's one more way that you can find this, which is an easier, quick way. Since we know we're going to have 20% and 6% of the same number, we can add those percentages together and try to figure out 26% of 32.55. Even better, we know we're going to pay that 32.55, so that's 100% of that. So it's 100% of that amount plus the 26% of the amount to give us a total of 126%. That's what our total cost is going to be. 100% of 32.55 plus the 26% for tax and tip. So I can actually find 126% of 32.55 to get my answer. So I move my decimal, 1.26 times 32.5. Is $41.013. There's that 3 that we rounded earlier. We're just going to drop it off and get the same exact amount that we got doing it bit by bit. So this is a quicker way to do it, but you do conceptually need to understand that we are taking 100% of the costs plus 6% of it plus 20% of the same amount. So we can add those together to get 126% of it and get our total in just one nice and easy packaged step.